Hello guys, I'm back again with my fourth video of C tutorials on programming brains. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the data types and variables in C programming. If you haven't watched my earlier videos till now, please do so before watching this video by clicking the I button above. So let's start with this video. So first, let's start with data types. So data types are means to identify the type of data and associated operations for handling it. Or in simpler words, we can say that the data type tells what kind of data is actually stored. It can be whole numbers, fractional parts, letters, etc. There are two types of data types, fundamental data types and derived data types. So let's start first with fundamental data types. Fundamental data types are those data types that are not composed of other data types. There are 5 fundamental data types. The first fundamental data type is the int data type. Data that contains whole numbers or integers such as 5, 39, -32, etc. and contains no fractional part is said to have int data type. It takes at least 2 bytes of space in memory to store a int data type. It has also more types of int such as short int and long int, and it can be also assigned as unsigned and signed int, each taking different sizes. The next data type is the char data type. Data that contains letters and digits or termed as characters in C such as A, B, 1, 2, C, D is said to have char data type. It takes only 1 byte of space in memory to store a char data type. It has 2 more types of data, signed and unsigned char data type, and it also takes 1 byte space but can store only positive values. The next data type is float data type. Data that contains fractional parts or numbers containing a decimal or floating point such as 12.0, 3.14, etc. is said to have float data type. It takes 4 bytes of space in memory to store a float data type. Now, the next data type is the double data type. The data type double is also used for handling floating point numbers, but it is treated as a distinct data type because it occupies twice as much memory as type float. That is, it takes 8 bytes of space in memory but can store floating point numbers with larger precision. And the last fundamental data type is the void. It is used for empty set of values. So the full reference links and details of these data types are given in the description below. Please do check it. Moving on to the derived data types. Derived data types are those which are composed of fundamental data types. There are 4 basic types of derived data types named as under arrays, structures, union, and enumerations. I will be talking about each of these in my later videos. For now, let's move on variables.
So variables. What are variables? Before telling what variables are, let me tell you that in any programming language, all data is stored in a storage area known as memory. So variable is nothing but a name given to a storage area that our programs can manipulate is termed as a variable. Each variable in C has a specific type which determines the size and layout of the variable's memory. A variable can have any name such as num, a, b, etc. But there are certain rules for naming a variable. These rules are stated below. Rule 1. All variable name must begin with a letter of the alphabet, an underscore or a dollar sign. Rule 2. A variable name can't begin with a digit but can have a digit after initial letter. Rule 3. No spaces or special characters are allowed in a variable name. Rule 4. The variable name can't be a keyword. So what is a keyword? A keyword is a reserved word in C having a special meaning. There are 32 keywords in C. Some of them are break, auto, if, else, etc. The full reference for keywords is given below in the description. Please do check it. Now let's see some of the valid and invalid variable names. So here you can see I have made a list of 6 variable names and stated why it is valid and invalid. From these names, 1, 3 and 6 are valid names and 2, 4 and 5 are invalid as 2 is a keyword, 4 starts with a digit and 5 is a special character included. Now let's move into variable definition and variable initialization. So now what do you mean by variable definition? A variable definition tells the compiler where and how much storage to create for the variable. Now variable definition looks like this. It just looks like this: int a, where int is the data type of the variable and a is the variable. We can also use the other data types instead of int as and when required. Now moving on to variable initialization. Initialization means assigning a value to something, and hence variable initialization means assigning a value to a variable. A variable initialization looks as follows. Int a is equal to 10. Here a value 10 is initialized in variable a. After a value is initialized, it gets stored in the memory and can be accessed later on for manipulation by just writing a. That's all for variables. Now let us write a small program to understand the use and importance of variables and data types in C. So now we have opened a new window in Turbo C7 and we will write a small program to print a value taken in a variable a to understand the use and importance of variables. If you don't know how to install this Turbo C7 software, watch my earlier video whose link is given in the I button above. So now let's start the program. We will first start with the header files #include stdio.h and the conio.h. And then we will start the main function, that is void main, and then the curly braces. If you don't know what are header files and how to start a program, or you are not able to understand the code till now, please do watch my earlier video in which I have explained how to use the Turbo C7 software and also explained how to write program in it. For now, let's continue the program. We will start with int a. This is the variable definition and we will initialize the value 10 to it with itself a variable initialization. And then we will write the clear screen to clear the screen up and print f get ch. In this printf statement, I have written mod d and then a to initialize this value, to access this value 10 and then print it on the screen. So now let's save it and run this program. And here you go. And you can see, yes, the value 10 has been printed. So that's it for the program. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys like this video and have understood the use of variables and data types in C.
If you guys like my video, please do share and like my video, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking this red button below. For any queries, you can write to me at my mail ID or comment down below in the comment section. Happy coding! Tell you how to download and install Turbo C7 software that will be used to code in the C language on Windows. So let's start. So now let's start by opening the Chrome browser. This is the page from where we will install the software. In this video, I'm gonna introduce you to the Turbo C7 software and run some small programs in it. So let's start. So this is the first window you will get when you will open
Audio Jungle.